Right now, pulled from a burning home in South St. Paul.
Can you grab my shoulders?
The family of a woman rescued by 2 police officers speaks out.
She thought she was gonna die there, burn and die there.
And his daughter killed in a hit and run on the U of M campus.
Everything is hard to do. Everything is lonely to do.
A heartbroken father looks for justice.
I'm Katane, and tonight we're sharing how a Minnesota teen taken too soon is now making a difference across the world and how his legacy will soon begin changing lives.
Well, it's starting to feel and really look like the holidays. We'll have your forecast all the way through Thanksgiving that does include some snow and some colder temperatures.
Then a Wisconsin father faked his own death and ran away to Europe. Now he tells police how he did it. Then a company behind thousands of fake repair businesses picks the wrong customer to dupe.
When I started, I had absolutely no idea of the scale of what was involved.
One man's mission to fight back. The news starts now.
Yep, we got you. You're okay. Okay.
Dramatic new video tonight showing South St. Paul police officers pulling a woman from her burning home. Because of those officers, that woman is going to be okay. Ian Russell spoke with her son about the rescue.
In an instant,
Life is precious. Things can happen fast.
life can change.
I got a call about 5 a.m. yesterday morning that there was a fire at the house.
For Don Novak,
Very worried. Very worried. Got out of bed fast and
fear of the unknown.
ran.
Setting quickly, his mother now safe at the hospital after a fire ripped through her home.
The corner, to the very right of the front of the house.
And inside, nothing but charred memories and ash, filling space where life once stood strong.
Up and down, up and down.
Don's mother almost not making it out.
She thought she was gonna die there, burn and die there.
A miracle she's okay. A miracle made possible by guardian angels.
Yeah, early Wednesday morning.
In uniform.
One thing that she said that I'll always remember is, fire, I'm scared.
South St. Paul Police Sergeant Michael Dahl and Officer Aaron Schmidt were the first ones to respond Wednesday morning.
Police department, anybody in here?
Body cameras from the two show the start of that devastation, crawling under smoke and flames too much to bear.
Police department, yell out to me!
Finding another way outside.
I just started looking through that back window, and that's when I saw her.
Right here. Yep. 1, 2, 3. Can you grab my shoulders?
He was able to pick her up right off that bed and hand her out to me, waiting at the bottom of the window.
Heroes who will never admit it.
It's what we kind of signed up for. It's what we're trained on. It's what we do.
But Don will always know.
Well, don't throw them away.
They are.
We think of them as patrolling a neighborhood, but to get on their hands and knees and crawl into a burning home, that takes a special person.
In South St. Paul, Ian Russell, Kare 11 News.
Developing tonight, police are looking for the gunman who shot a man in the middle of Dinkytown after a possible drug deal as thousands of students were heading to class this morning. Minneapolis police say the man was shot near 7th Street and 13th Avenue Southeast just before 9:30 this morning. Witnesses told police they heard several gunshots, and when officers arrived, they found a vehicle crashed into a fire hydrant. Police say at least 2 people were reported running from the scene. A man who police say is not a student was found nearby with a gunshot wound to the chest. He was taken to the hospital. 2 weeks ago today, 18-year-old U of M student Riley Salome was hit by a car on campus. The driver, who police say was drunk and did not have a license, took off and was later arrested. 3 days later, Riley died in the hospital. Jessica Hart spoke with her family.
Grief is hard to outrun.
Just every day there's something that reminds you of Riley. And
Scott Solem's daughter Riley was walking home from a performance when police say she was hit and killed by an alleged drunk driver.
she was just crossing. She had the right-of-way crossing in the crosswalk, and this guy ran a red light and hit her.
According to charging documents, Ali Abbas Samator was behind the wheel and has 2 prior DWI convictions.
His license was revoked as well, and because of the DWIs, and yet he can go home in 15 years at the most. And Riley never gets to come home, and she did nothing wrong.
Riley was an acting major at the University of Minnesota.
She wanted to be a movie actress, get on the big screen.
But never the center of attention.
She cared about people and her friends. She touched so many people.
Helping others, even after she died.
It is what it's called, an honor walk. It was an honor walking with her.
To the tune of one of her favorites, Caledonia. Riley saved 5 people's lives.
We got her urn today.
Before she flew home to be with her family, beating her wings nearby.
And the radio was on a sports station, and as I was backing it up, it switched to the Christmas station, and Mariah Care's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and that was her Christmas song. And so then that makes me stop and have a cry and listen to the song.
Easing the pain of losing a daughter.
I don't know how we're going to move on, but I know we have to.
Grief doesn't last forever, but Riley's memory will. In Albertville, Jessica Hart, Kare 11 News.
Here in Shakopee, a hand recount of 22,000 votes did not move the needle much in the tightest race in Minnesota. Incumbent Democrat Brad Tapke still holds a lead over his Republican challenger, Aaron Paul. That lead today extended from 14 votes to 15 votes. That's because in some cases, election judges had to decide the voters' intent when it came to ballots where the ovals weren't filled in correctly. Now, this thing may still end up in court because of a discrepancy over absentee ballots that were cast at Shakopee City Hall. The number of people who checked in to vote early absentee there is 20 higher than the number of ballots they collected there, and that mystery is still being investigated.
Luke Knutson was just 17 years old when he was killed in a crash on the way home from working on a passion project. Now, as Raya Katene found out, that project, helping build wells in Kenyan communities, will live on for years thanks to a loving community. Raya?
Well, Julie, I first met Luke Knutson's parents on Tuesday when his mom, Renee, told us about the incredible young man that their son was. And this morning, Luke's dad, Brian, texted me saying, quote, "We are so proud of him. It's a tragic loss and we will never fully recover from it. But seeing the outpouring of love and support from our communities in support of what will become Luke's legacy is breathtaking."
What was once the trip of a lifetime for the Knutson family.
It was a bucket list trip for our family to go on a safari to Kenya.
Will soon become a lifeline of support for people in northern Kenya.
And he so wanted to make a difference for them, and they were so excited about it.
We spoke to Renee Rude Knutson on Tuesday, a couple days after her 17-year-old son Luke passed away. The Orono High School senior died after crashing into a traffic light off a Minnetonka highway Sunday night.
He cared about other people, and he really, really loved it when other people cared about him.
That care for others is what led Luke to forming a friendship with Simon and Biko, the Knutson's tour guides in Samburu. It's also what led him to doing something about their lack of access to clean water.
When he came home, he just Googled Samburu water and somehow found our website and just wrote an email to our info email box. I've been to Samburu and I have the idea that I would like to drill a well for my guide's family and village. Is this something that you can help me with?
It's exactly what Linda Hooper and her team can help with. Hooper leads the Samburu Project, a small nonprofit building hand pump wells and giving Samburu people access to clean water.
This work allows us to connect with people all over the world who just want to do a good thing in the world.
People like Luke, whose initial goal of $24,000 to build one well,
we are as astounded as his family,
has reached extraordinary heights.
He always said when we came home, "I can't wait to go back."
Going back,
when can we go back?
Is no longer an option. But going forward, Luke's once-in-a-lifetime trip will soon begin changing lives.
So exactly how soon will that be? Well, Hooper tells me multiple wells will be built by next summer, and they usually build about 10 per year. At this point, the money from Luke's fundraiser will help them with around 6 of those, and each well, Julie, helps improve the lives of around 1,000 people.
Wow, that is just extraordinary. Thank you, Raya. Now to a bizarre story unfolding in Wisconsin. Wisconsin authorities say they have made contact with the father they say faked his own death and fled to Europe. Brian Borgwart disappeared 3 months ago. Authorities found his overturned kayak on Green Lake and searched for him for weeks. But the Greene County Sheriff now says Borgwart flipped the kayak on purpose, tossed his phone in the lake, and then rode an e-bike 70 miles to Madison, took a bus to Canada, and then flew to Europe. The sheriff says Borgwart recently sent them a video proving he is alive, but it's not clear if he will come back.
He just had personal matters going on, and he felt this was the right thing to do. We're not going to give up. We want to continue because he needs to come home to his kids.
The sheriff says Borgwart is with a Russian-speaking woman. He likely has an apartment and a job. At this point, no one else is under investigation, but Borgwart will face an obstruction charge and potentially even more federal charges should he come back home.
Former Representative Matt Gaetz has withdrawn as President-elect Trump's pick for Attorney General. It comes amid allegations of sexual misconduct involving a 17-year-old girl. Gaetz has denied all allegations and has not been charged. In a statement today, Gaetz said his confirmation was becoming a distraction to the Trump-Vance transition. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says he vetoed the controversial Labor Standards Board. The City Council approved the creation of the board last week. They said it would give workers a stronger voice to create policies and make changes. Several unions and workers groups supported the idea, but business owners were strongly opposed, calling it unfair. Frey said a board needs to be balanced and encourage collaboration between workers and businesses. The Minnesota Department of Health now says at least 17 people have gotten sick from E. coli after eating beef served at local restaurants, including Red Cow and Hen House. The outbreak has triggered a major ground beef recall across the country.
Let's check in with Belle now for a look at our forecast. Woof! Sure did change, Belle. Nice and cold.
It did. I mean, you think last week we were near 60 degrees, but we do have a little bit more of this cold air on our way, and we have our forecast all the way through Thanksgiving. Here are your headlines for this evening. After a very, very difficult evening last night and morning commute, it is going to be much drier this weekend, so that is good news. And the wind will finally relax tomorrow, but we do really have some cold air that's going to inch in next week and then really come in after Thanksgiving. Right now, the winds are at 10 miles an hour, and we do have skies trying to clear out. We'll have your forecast through the weekend and all the way to Thanksgiving in a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Belle. Give to the Max Day just keeps getting better. You still have a few hours to give to so many deserving organizations across Minnesota. So far, more than $35 million has been raised for more than 6,400 organizations. Since it launched in 2009, Give to the Max Day has raised $300 million for 14,000 nonprofits. Missing an insulin dose can be dangerous for diabetics. Coming up, the new app from Medtronic to prevent that from happening.
A nationwide network of fake repair businesses.
227 Clarkson Road brings us to a grass strip on the side of a highway.
And one customer's mission to fight back. Kare 11 investigates. Phantom Fixers, next.